you really have to understand the 5 elements theory, and you have to understand the real language of Ayurveda, and here people get lost. And the real language of Ayurveda are the gunas, and the gunas are the qualities. We have to target the metabolic fire, because many people always say we are what we eat, and that's kind of true, but in Ayurveda we understand we are what we digest.
Welcome to this new episode, and today I'm here again with Nancy. How are you, Nancy?
Very good, thank you.
Lovely. So Nancy was one of my first interviews about 3 years ago when I started this YouTube channel, you remember?
Wow, yes, 3 years already? I think I was the 3rd one or something. Wow.
It's quite fascinating, so thank you for coming back. And Nancy is an Ayurvedic expert on the island, so we're going to talk about Ayurveda. But first of all, I'd like to ask you, what is your story in life?
Okay, my story in a nutshell is I'm from Germany. So most of my life I have lived in Germany, and my background is actually key account manager or sales rep. So 10.5 years ago I decided to leave because I was really hitting rock bottom, like burnout. Probably many of us know that story. So being very stressed out, and I just realized it's not helping me to change the job or stay there. You know, very often we say don't stay in an environment where you got sick. And I decided to leave and go travel, and I called it the trip of my life. So I started in Asia, I started in Thailand, and it brought me throughout Asia, Australia, and on this journey, I really started my yoga to also rebalance and heal and find a new purpose, because I can say I was purposeless. There was no meaning anymore, right? And who experienced burnout or really like falling into a high intensity of stress, they know that, you know, there is no, we are so disconnected. And that was not for me meaning of life. So I discovered yoga. In Chiang Mai, actually, I did my very first proper yoga class. And through the journey of yoga, I came to Ayurveda. But it took me a while until I came there. But I would say like 2 years on the line, being in touch with yoga and obviously heard about Ayurveda, I traveled first time to India. So, and I came to Dharamshala, which you know as well.
For sure.
And met my Ayurvedic doctor, Dr. Arun Sharma from Ayuskama Panchakarma Institute. And I always say, Dr. Arun really ignite the fire and the flame and the passion for Ayurveda within me. So I did my first workshop with him. I was just like so blown away, like why is no one teaching us this? Why medical system is like it is in the Western world, why we don't think in body, mind, soul, consciousness and senses, why we are so disconnected, like I had so many questions. And I really said, I want to study this, I want to know more about this. And this is really how my journey started. And then I went short time back to Germany and thought like I have to stay there, but couldn't. Traveled again to India, did more yoga teacher training and Ayurveda, and then actually decided doing this stay in India that I'm meant to be here. And then I packed my stuff and said, okay, I will take everything new discovered and learned in my backpack, and I want to make Koh Phangan my new home. And I came here with an intention. I didn't just land it here, you know, or like, oops, I didn't leave. No, it was really intentionally, this will be my new home. And 8 years later, I'm still here.
That is wonderful. You know, I had a similar kind of intention to actually move to the island because I wanted to live here. But it's really interesting, you know, your passion for Ayurveda has been developing and developing over the years, right? And I know that maybe once a year you go back to India, you still have this very strong connection with Dr. Arun.
Absolutely.
And also you've been broadening your studies of Ayurveda across different aspects of this very deep and very broad science indeed, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you know me for a long time, right?
Sure.
We always know each other, almost know each other from the moment you arrived. So you have seen that, and I feel that also, and this is so wonderful. I mean, you know, this science is so vast, yeah, as yoga as well, or like any medical studies. So Ayurveda is very, very deep. There's a lot of knowledge, and it takes time to get it also. And I can even say I found COVID a blessing, because Dr. Arun was very quick to go online with his program, which I was not able to do before because I couldn't stay so long. So since COVID, I'm intensely studying online as well. Plus now I can go back again and do my physical studies as well. And this has really brought so much more understanding and knowledge. And also, as I work very, very, very holistic in the sense that I do everything, you know, as I do consultation, I work online, but I also work in person, and I can almost do every of the Ayurvedic therapies, which actually, they bring the magic, they bring the power. If you really combine that, if you understand yourself in totality through the doshas and the 5 elements, so the body types and constitutions, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. This is one thing, you know, and we can guide in lifestyle, and of course guide with diet and herbal medicines and spiritual practices and movement and understanding the metabolism and everything. But the real deal happens actually with the therapies, because I don't, you know, Luca, I'm really always amazed when I do them. How could they know thousands of years ago to apply specific oil into the nose and clean the nostril, you know, and clean the focus and the brain and get us more awake and pull the mucus out from all areas of the body, you know? Or we do use specific dry powder massage, a lot of good herbs, like heating herbs, which helps also to break the toxins, which we call ama in the body. And really make them digest, you know, to get this stuff out, because there's so much, right? Through wrong food, through pollution, even emotions become very toxic and ama in the body, right? We know that. So it's so much incredible depths in the therapies we can use in Ayurveda. And I think that's often forgotten, or you know, Ayurveda just puts a little bit oil over your body, you know, like people always say this, but there's so much power and healing behind that. And it really fascinates me. And this is what happened to me over the years, applying more, having more confidence in applying these treatments. Like just in this week, what I have seen with doing this specific nostril treatment, I just putting oil in the nose, so powerful.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure,
what people experience there. It's like, even for me, you know, it's always like, oh, this stuff really works. You know.
What is fascinating about Ayurveda is that when you start learning about it, it's very common sense, you know. I mean, everything makes perfect sense. There's no need, you know, to go and find why something is like this, what does it mean. I mean, it's very self-explanatory in many ways. And it is a bit of a science of common sense, because if you learn about Ayurveda, you learn about your body type, for instance, and then you understand that maybe you are more you tend to have more inflammatory problem, you have more heat in the body, yes. You tend to be a personality that gets maybe angry, for instance. You know, if you eat like spicy food, you start sweating and getting red or something, right? Yeah. And then it's natural to understand that maybe you want to apply some cooling elements to your life, both in terms of diets and lifestyle, etc. It's very self-explanatory almost, right?
It is, and you know, I love the term, it really comes from Dr. Arun, to say it's a science of common sense. And I think we forget to apply this common sense in life. And it's exactly like you are, but it's still sometimes very difficult for people to grasp that idea, because you really have to understand the 5 elements theory, and you have to understand the real language of Ayurveda, and here people get lost. And the real language of Ayurveda are the gunas, and the gunas are the qualities. That means exactly as you described with pitta or fire. What is it? It's heating. So what we're applying the opposite. To heal heat or too much heat or bring heat down, we need to cool down. But it doesn't mean eat only ice cream or drink ice cold food or only eat raw food because you cannot digest it. And this is where people get a little bit lost because we didn't grow up with the terms of something is heating in my body or cooling, or something is drying me, or something makes me oily, or something makes me heavy or light. And this is when it comes to nutrition, and that's your main topic. We in Ayurveda actually say we don't speak proteins or calories or carbohydrates or something like this. The real language of Ayurveda is qualities. Yeah, and when we speak about qualities, it's not something, I consume a mint tea, which tea is usually hot, right? And it's heating because the water is heating. No, it's about the mint, the quality of the herb or the food you're consuming, the effect of the body. Yeah, the effect has on the body. These are the gunas. And this is where many people go lost and say, Ayurveda is too complicated, Ayurveda has too many rules and laws to follow, because they don't understand this common sense. They don't understand this language of gunas, elements, and doshas, because this is what Ayurveda is. And then it becomes common sense.
Sure.
Right? A typical, you brought a really good example, but another one is where people also get like, so common problem many people have, half of the population, is constipation.
Sure.
So people can't go to toilet. You probably have that a lot as well when you work with your clients. So, and what is it? It's a vata imbalance. Yeah. So something got too dry in the body. So fat is missing, right? The lubrication, something goes smoothly out of the body. So this happens because there's too much air element, and air makes dry. Yeah, and opposite what we need to bring in, we need to bring in fat, we need to bring in lubrication, we need to make it flowing again, smooth. And people don't understand that this doesn't happen with raw food, so for certain times we have to change things. And this is the fascinating stuff, and this is how we explain diseases, this is how we explain how we use, which therapy we use. It comes all from this language of the gunas.
It's fascinating indeed. It goes back to the elements that form the universe inside and outside, and also is a science that is holistic in nature. So it looks at the whole individual rather than being a reductionist, which is the most sort of common approach of sort of Western medical science. When you said like the carbohydrates, the protein, how did they find out? They had microscopes. They went down. They broke everything down to the smallest atom or molecule, and decided that, look, these certain foods have certain type of molecules, these certain others have these other type of molecules. The beauty of Ayurveda is that you can still apply sort of herbal medicine to rebalance something from the effect that these herbs had on the body, and they could observe them. And in a holistic science, you still apply sort of, a reductionist medicine if you need to target a specific aspect of the body, but it's embedded in a holistic sort of, framework. So the individual as a whole is taken into consideration, not just the problem with the kidneys or an ailment that is specific, right?
Exactly. We always look at the whole, and if there's a problem with the kidneys, it comes from somewhere. So we have to look, and it's always a fascinating how much people think in separation, but Ayurveda understands there is no separation. Body and mind work together. I cannot say like I have back pain and this had nothing to do with something else in my body. No, it's not working like this, right? Or common problems. I have almost every woman steps into my place has menstrual problems these days, And of course this has to do with lifestyle, very often with very sedative lifestyle, how they exercise, the mentality of exercising, People, they think they always have to exercise so much, but this is very often the problem of many other things coming through that, you know. So we really have to understand what is connected to what and what effect has it on our body. And that's why we cannot give the same recipe to everyone. Yeah? And also what's fascinating, we spoke a little bit about the ama, the concept of toxins in the body or undigested waste products, but it's also Agni, you know this concept. Agni is the digestive fire, the metabolic fire. We need a good fire in the body to be able to digest, to regulate hormones, to have a luster, to have clarity, for everything. Yeah, and often that's also not looked at, that we really have to target the metabolic fire, because many people always say we are what we eat, and that's kind of true, but in Ayurveda we understand we are what we digest. So you can eat the most healthy food or change into a vegan or vegetarian diet, which is probably awesome, but if you have not looked at your metabolic capacity, you can eat the most healthy food, even supplements, and you will still feel tired, not like you want to feel. You still have your same health problems. I've seen people, they said, I changed my diet, but I still have the problem. Yes, my dear, because you haven't addressed your metabolic fire. We have to first address your metabolic fire. Through the metabolic fire, you are able to digest the ama in the body. If you got rid of ama, then we can bring in the good stuff. And then you will be also able to absorb it. So this is actually the magic we do, and this is very helpful. We do it through specific therapies, so hands-on massage or like treatments. And of course, understanding yourself also in totality.
Nancy, so you probably work with a diverse sort of clientele, right? And I mean, is it difficult to introduce these concepts, now you're talking to us, to people that maybe are open-minded about Ayurveda, they want to learn, or they want to kind of have a treatment with you, but they never done it before? I mean, it's
very, very diverse, There are people, they specifically search for Ayurveda also here on the island, so then they find me very easily. People get inspired of me when I give talks and yoga teacher trainings and introduce Ayurveda, so they just feel, and maybe I talked about the topic and they feel like, oh wow, maybe that could be a way to help me or get a new perspective to what I'm suffering with, or they really, really have heard already about it and come. So it's very, very, very different. Of course, it's always easier to work with people that already know a little bit, so they're already open for these ancient practices. Some, they come new, they're sometimes a bit skeptical. But if they allow and they experience, because Ayurveda is a practice and medicine of experience, and they see what's happening, they say like, okay, yeah, I believe.
And because you have many tools you can apply to the individual, I mean, do you tend to work with them just on a one-session basis, or do you prefer to have some sort of a longer program with people?
Yes, I do only longer programs. So, if you want to work on something specific with me, you have to commit to 4 sessions.
Okay.
Because we're doing a proper consultation, and I create a lifestyle plan, which takes a lot of effort and time. So I really want to see the progress. So what I have experienced sometimes is very difficult for people, especially they're new. Then you tell them, just don't eat that, do this, do that, and then they're like, where should I start? So people, they really need guidance. I have experienced people do very well if you take them on a hand for a little bit. They have someone to ask, someone to guide them, someone really to tell them, okay, let's start here, let's check how this is going, and then we adjusting. So yes, I only mainly work in programs because that's more beneficial for the client and also more satisfying for me, because nothing, and that happens with just one therapy or just one session. Change take time, and everyone is different to allow change to take place.
Sure. And I also know that, throughout your experience with Ayurveda, which is multi-years now, You run retreats in person, like multi-day retreats, right? You've done online sort of consultations and programs for people.
Exactly.
And of course you do treatments on the island as well.
Yeah.
So you've done many things. So your experience is, how many years is, like, you've been a practitioner, how many years now? Like
Yeah, my journey started with Ayurveda 8 years ago.
Okay, 8 years now. So you have different tools, so you can advise people on what's the best way for them to work with you and also to get the most benefits, right? But I mean, in the future, I mean, we know the present now, what you're doing right now, but in the future, do you have any sort of project or plan? Of course, you're doing very well, so you're happy just to continue what you're doing, I suppose. I don't know if you have any sort of more bigger long-term plan on the island or somewhere else.
So definitely I want to come up with more online courses, so I also people can more learn globally, or I get them more globally. But in the future, I would love to see Ayu for Life growing, like at a bigger place where people really can come and maybe do even Panchakarma, because Panchakarma is the Ayurvedic way of detoxing. I don't do that here. The facility is not right at the moment, and I still feel like I want to study a little bit more to feel really confident to do that. So I would love to see that on,
Koh Phangan, yeah.
on Koh Phangan, one place to have a really proper, professional, clean, authentic, Ayurvedic clinic, center, however we want to call it.
Yeah, because I think, of course, you've been always here consistently. Then you have people coming and going a little bit, maybe do Ayurveda, but there is no kind of Ayurvedic center in Koh Phangan. And if you think of Ayurveda, you think maybe of India, but many people would like to have exposure to this ancient knowledge in a setting which is a Thailand setting rather than an Indian setting, for different kind of reasons. Maybe they're more related, they're more sort of attracted to Thailand as an environment. They feel like the island particularly is very interesting for them, so they want to combine maybe some treatments or some Ayurvedic experience with something else too.
Yes, definitely.
So I think there is a lot of potential for Koh Phangan. I mean, there's been some sort of attempt to create some Ayurvedic center, right? But it's not like fully blown.
No, it's still just in my vision. So let's see.
Okay.
There are other Ayurvedic practitioners on the island as well. But yeah, as you said, there is no proper Ayurvedic center yet. But let's see what the future brings. So
yes.
I trust that it will all manifest as it wants to be.
Very cool. So we talked a little bit about Ayurveda, and people, I think, got a bit of a glimpse if you didn't know about it before. But also I'm interested to know, I mean, you've been here a long time, and you said that you deliberately chose Koh Phangan as a place to live. Why do you still love Koh Phangan after so many years?
Yeah, actually, I just said it recently. I'm not tired yet of Koh Phangan, and I don't know why people get bored here. It really fits really my needs and I still feel very comfortable on this island, I love the setting of I love my home. I created a life here. I have my business here. I love Thailand as in the culture and the people. And I mean, even now we see it, a lot of development is happening here, which kind of a bit hurts my heart to see that. But on the other side, I also say change is part of life and development. And we also, I think in the last 8 years have a benefit of that development. All the beautiful cafes we can go to and the choices we have. So yeah, it still opens every time I go and come back my heart. I still feel home here, and if I don't have that sense of feeling home here anymore, then I'd probably be ready to leave, but I don't have that feeling yet.
Okay, so you're still in love with the island,
yes.
And the island indeed is changing all the time and developing as we are, right?
Exactly.
You're changing and developing, and so
Which
I
is
am.
good.
Well, it's just life, isn't it? And hopefully developing as in growing rather than going back or like getting worse. But yeah, I also feel that, no matter what happens to the island, I'm very committed to this place and I find it fascinating. And if there is a lot of economic activity, and if more people come, maybe with a bigger budget as well, maybe there is going to be even more of a need for, a very good Ayurvedic center in the
Yeah,
future.
I think
Who
so.
knows?
I really see it. I think important is that we, whatever happens, stay connected to ourselves and the nature, you know, and we still have a lot of wonderful places here to go to nature, you know, like keeping that authenticity and really, like as Ayurveda is, it really invites us to live in harmony with nature. And I think this is very important wherever we go, that we keep connected to that.
And you're very interesting in terms of profile because, of course, you got the corporate business side from before, plus the experience on the island, plus the knowledge of Ayurveda and being a practitioner for a long time. So you would probably be a very good candidate, you know, to partner up with an investor or something, right? Is this something that you think about sometimes? Or?
So advertising, if any.
I don't know. Why not? I think an Ayurvedic center in Koh Phangan would be a lovely thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. It's in my mind. Yeah, definitely something would be interesting to address.
So let's see what the universe provides.
Exactly.
But I know you're going to India very soon now,
Yes.
and to see Dr. Arun and also do other things, right?
Yeah,
Travel and experience more of the Ayurvedic aspect of India with herbs. Is that right? You're going to learn about herbs more?
These times will be some experience with herbs. Let's see. I don't know really what I will learn, but you know how it is with India. What I really learned is just be humble, and the knowledge will come, you know. So don't expect anything, just let it happen. And
I totally agree.
yeah, also part is to see my Bhagavad Gita teacher, so this is also a big part of Ayurveda.
Because you're a yoga teacher still, right?
I'm also a yoga teacher, but also the Gita is very much a part of Ayurveda, so understanding the philosophies is actually the foundation of Ayurveda. Yeah, when we don't understand the philosophies, it will be very hard also to understand Ayurveda. So it's digging deeper and deeper and deeper, also to understand myself, of course.
Sounds lovely. Well, Nancy, thank you for coming back for our second interview.
Thank you,
Yes,
Luca.
it's been
Always
lovely.
a pleasure.
Yes, very nice. So, kapun kap.
Namaste.